Hey, it's Brooke here. Welcome back to my channel. Wow, it has been a long minute. I've been working through a pandemic, got COVID, got married, but hey, I am back, so welcome back. Today, I'm gonna start off by talking about interview questions, interviewing for new grads. So I'm gonna be talking about how to prepare, popular interview questions, what to wear, what not to wear, and what to bring. All right, let's get into it. So interviews. I feel like for new grads or graduating nursing school, that's the one thing they cringe about interviews. Like, oh, I'm not sure if that's just something that, really does not sit well with them. But I'm here to tell you, interviews are not that bad. I promise you, they're not that bad, and they can really make you or break you. So biggest advice overall, let's just take a deep breath. Think of interviews as a conversation. Think of interviews as someone getting to know you. So do not freak out. Do not try to make it over formal than what it really is. The first thing that I'm going to be talking about, how to prepare. So, how to prepare for interview. The best thing to do to prepare for interviews are to practice. So you need just to practice questions. Like, you want to go over questions, go over and over questions until you get comfortable. Get some friends, some classmates that are graduating with you that are also doing the same thing, preparing for interviews, and just get in a group and go over questions together. I had some friends in nursing school, and we made some flashcards. We wrote down and we Googled popular interview questions, and we wrote them down on a flashcard, and we just went over them and over them. We kind of had a layout. We just kind of went around the circle. Whoever was the person being interviewed was put on the spot, and we would just ask them, throw questions at them, back and forth. And then if we could just think of random things, even if they weren't on the flashcards, we would just hit them with a different question, hit them with a random question, so you can practice your first reaction, your first answer, so just so you can get comfortable talking and answering these questions. And like I said, Google those questions. Oh, also, before you go to interview for a hospital, it's very important to look up the hospital that you're interviewing at or for. Go ahead, creep on them. So if you're interviewing for a specific hospital, go on their website. Literally just get kind of familiar with them. Go check their missions and value statements. You can usually find it on their website. Trust me, you really want to look at their mission and value statements, because sometimes they'll ask you in an interview about their missions and the statements, and you want to make sure that you have an idea of what those are. So check out the website, just kind of creep on them, see what they're about. I remember for me, when I was interviewing at hospitals, I would go on their websites, I would look at their mission and value statement, and I would also just look at something that it would interest me. I just kind of creeped on their website, and I would look at what kind of patient population they serve, what city they serve, kind of what the city is about, what kind of people are there. What else? I would also look just to see who the CNO was. One hospital that I was creeping at, that I was about to interview for, I found out that this was their first woman CNO, so I thought that was pretty cool. And they could ask me something about why I would want to work for them, and that'd be something cool that I could bring up. And that's about it for how to prepare. So now I'm going to go over popular questions. These are some questions that I was asked for my interview, and I believe even before my interviews, some popular questions I Googled. You can Google a bunch of interview questions, but these are some of the ones that I remember them asking me. So first one that was very popular, tell us about yourself. Brooke, tell me about yourself. So that's a very popular question, so go ahead, go and tell them a little bit about yourself. You don't have to be nervous. Don't talk too fast, slow it down. Anytime they ask you a question, take a deep breath, think about it, and then answer. So you can just tell them a little brief. You don't have to give them your whole life, in-depth story. Just give them a short a little bit about yourself, where you're from, when you're graduating, basically where you're from, where you go to nursing school, what city you're interested in moving to, maybe some externships or internships that you've done in the past, or if you're a tech or PCA or anything like that. And another popular question, why do you want to work here? So, Brooke, tell me, why do you want to work here? To answer that, you know, you hopefully, like I said, you've done some research about that hospital, that city. Tell them why you want to work there. Another question is, this is a very popular question. I was asked this question at several different hospitals, and this question can really make you or literally break you. They'll say, Brooke, tell us about a time where you made a mistake. This can be a trap. So like I said, this can make you or break you. Do not try to come up with some superhero story about how you made a mistake, no. Interviews, try to make your response as simple as possible. So for instance, when they asked me that question, my response was, I had done an externship in the operating room. So I told them, there's this one time where I was doing my externship in an operating room, and you know, sterile field, sterile procedure, it's obviously very important. You have the sterile field set up. It was like few weeks into my internship, and the surgery that we were preparing for, the surgeon was very intimidating, sometimes actually rude, and we had everything set up, everything ready to go. Surgeon walked in and everyone was in their sterile gown, like he was ready to go, he was ready behind, so he was like ready in a bad mood. I had accidentally hit and touched the sterile field with my unsterile hand, and I felt really bad about it. I was scared. I didn't know what to do. It was just a high stress environment. So I just told them about the time how I messed up their sterile field and how I told them that I touched their sterile field and they had to redo it. So just something as simple as that. I explained it a little bit better than I did to you guys right now. But just think about a time that you made a mistake, not some superhero mistake or not some huge mistake that you've done that might make you look incompetent. It's like, don't do that, but just literally a simple mistake. Maybe at a job that you've had in nursing school or just simply in life. Another important question, they'll probably say, Brooke, we work at a fast, high-paced environment. It's also a very high-stress environment. How do you handle stress? Are you good with stress? That's a question to think about. How do you handle stress? Tell them, if you're good at stress, tell them, have you ever been in a stressful environment? Have you ever worked in a stressful environment? If so, make sure you tell them. Even if you haven't worked in a stressful environment, but you'll be fine in a stressful environment, how do you know? Tell them that. Also, maybe random, but if you've ever experienced a stressful life event, have you ever been out in public and had to help someone collapse and you had to help save them? Have you ever done CPR? Those are stressful stuff, and that's good example for this question for a new grad. Another popular question is, they'll be like, so how would you describe yourself? Describe yourself using 3 words. Honestly, it's not a hard question, but this is something that you should obviously think about before. It's a good question to think about. So what are some words to describe you? A lot of people say hardworking, determined. I think determined is a pretty or driven. Driven was one that I've always used. I think driven is a very solid word to describe someone. So driven, hardworking, dedicated, compassionate. Those are some good ones. So just think about 3 words that really describe you. This is kind of like an ICU specific question. I was interviewing for ICUs. They say, tell me about the sickest patient you've ever had, and why were they the sickest patient? What kind of drips were they on? So go back to your ICU clinicals, think about the sickest patient you've ever had. And honestly, my ICU clinicals kind of sucked. I didn't have that many sick patients. If you didn't have that many sick patients, let me tell you, don't go and try to make something up about a sick patient, all these drips. Just don't make something up, because they will probably pick your brain and ask you more about the sick patient, and you're not going to be able to answer the questions that they're going to ask that come from that. So don't make answers up unless you can back it up. Don't do that. So just think back to the sickest patient you have and what kind of drips. I remember for me, I didn't have that many sick patients, but there was one patient I had in the ICU. He was actually, he started on nasal cannula. He was kind of desatting, decompensated. They put him on high flow nasal cannula. They put him on dopamine. I think those were all the drips. Excuse that noise. They're doing construction right outside my apartment. Don't try to overdo it. Just think back to the sickest patient you ever had. They'll definitely probably ask you about their missions and values and how you can demonstrate their missions and values of the hospital. So like I said, be sure to know that. Another popular question, they'll be like, tell me about a time that you advocated for a patient, or tell me about a time how you stood up for a patient, and or tell me about a time you stood up for someone, something to that point. Like I said, do not make anything up like you're some crazy good superhero, super nurse, because you're not yet. You're a new nurse, you're a new grad. Simple, true, and to the point, okay? All right, now let's talk about what to wear. What to wear for an interview. Very easy, just something simple. For my interview, I wore a simple black dress. It was probably all the way down, like past my knees a little bit, and I wore closed-toed black shoes, and I had a little dark gray blazer that I put on it too. I just wanted to keep my shoulders covered. I suggest when you go for an interview, try to wear like neutral colors for a dress or a pantsuit. H&M has a lot of like professional interview clothes for a decent price. Check out Macy's, check out JCPenney's. You just need something simple, and I would cover your shoulders, no crop tops, like no stomach showing. Black, you can't go wrong with black. Just get a black simple dress. You should do like closed-toed shoes or cute loafers. Makeup. Should you wear makeup to an interview? Yes, clean yourself up, look good. Don't look like you rolled out of bed, but do not overdo the makeup. You don't need to wear your bright red Fenty lipstick to an interview. No, you're not trying to dress your best. You're trying to dress to impress for an interview. So for makeup, I suggest wearing neutral colors, neutral eyeshadow, neutral lipstick, wear lip gloss. Like you don't need to have so much color. Just wear lip gloss, neutral eye makeup, or a little bit of blush, concealer. You don't overdo it, but you want to have like a natural, cute, soft look to yourself. Very refreshing, comb your hair. Don't come to an interview looking like you just woke up, you just rolled out of bed. If you have a lot of hair like me and you don't have a lot of time and you can't really like straighten and curl your hair, just make sure your hair looks nice. Like just even a nice slicked back bun like I have right now, very clean cut, short, like to the point. Just do this. It doesn't have to be perfect, but make sure you take care of yourself, look nice for this interview. Remember, first impressions are everything. Like they say, sometimes people say they're not, but they are very important. Jewelry, you can wear some jewelry to an interview. Don't overdo it. You can wear some like maybe some nice studs or some like nice gold earrings or pearls, but just don't overdo it. Do not overdo it. I would not, like I said, show any unnecessary skin. I would cover my shoulders. Don't overdo it. You want to look professional. Looks are everything. First impressions are everything looks are everything for first impressions. I think that's it for what to wear, what not to wear. Okay, what to bring to an interview. Very important. Always bring your resume. I had like a little binder that I would bring with me to every interview, a little black binder. And I just make several copies of your resume, put them in that binder. Another thing to bring, references or referrals. Most people call them references. So if you have a few references, put them on a paper, like make several copies of that. References from like your nursing clinicals, your nursing teachers, professors, any references that you may have from doctors, preceptors, anything like that. And obviously make sure you have your driver's license. And that's pretty much it. And then I feel like at the end of an interview, they'll ask you, well, do you have any questions for us? Yes, always have questions for the organization you're interviewing for. Don't be afraid. Like you want them to know that you care and that, like this is important to you. Like, yeah, I have questions for you guys. Like, this is important to me. This matters to me. So always come up with some questions and make sure, do some research, ask some good questions. Like I said, this is kind of IC specific, but like, what are your nursing, like your staff to patient ratio? How many patients can you have? Are you ever tripled? Something that's, I think, another great question to ask, because this shows that you care about like safety and what's going on. Say, what is y'all's code blue process? I know there's a button, but I know certain ICUs you have to press a certain button. How does that work? Do you have good teamwork? Would you consider your staff team players? Maybe what's your staff retention? Like I said, interviews can really make you or break you. Practice. spitting out random questions with your friends, answering them. Think of interview as a conversation and a way to advertise yourself to get the best job. Do not be nervous. I know it is so normal to be nervous, but try not to. Eat a good breakfast before your interview. Don't drink too much coffee. It might give you like the shakes or the jitters. Make sure you have fresh breath. When I'm nervous, I feel like my breath in my mouth just seems to get dry. So just make sure you always have gum on you or something. Relax, stay calm. Oh, also, most interviews are in person. However, I did do a few interviews. This is way before COVID. I did do a few interviews online. It was kind of weird. You had to they had pre-recorded questions and you had to turn your video on and record yourself answering the questions. You can only record yourself 3 times, and I think they could see how many times you redid it. So that's something just to think and wrap your mind around, because I was like, this is weird. I never expected to do an interview online, so that's something to think about. All right, that's it. That's all I have for interviews. If you guys can think of any questions, you could hit me up on my Instagram. You can ask your questions in the comments below. I'm gonna write out or type out some of the popular questions that I was asked so you guys can have access to them. Good luck. You're going to do great. Don't be nervous. Take a deep breath after those questions and then just relax. Do not talk too fast. Try not to stutter. You guys are gonna do great. I hope that helped you. Give this video a thumbs up. Subscribe to my channel. I'll be making more YouTube videos about nursing, fashion, and beauty. So I will see you guys soon. Chewy wanted to be my helper today. All right, I'll see you guys later. Thank you.